98.5 The Sports Hub. Danny Roach is in the big chair today. And Mark Daniels couldn't be more excited about that. I imagine you and Mark Daniels know each other, Danny, don't you?
I like Mark.
Yeah, you're out there, you're holding the microphones.
Excuse me, Mark. Sorry, gotta get it. Gotta get the microphone positioned in there.
And he likes you because, let's be honest, who doesn't like you, Dan?
You know, you see these pictures. I'm talking to the audience now. You see these pictures, and it's people like standing in a scrum at the locker of someone. And I've only had to do that like twice. Like one time, the Bruins really cheaped out on media day and just had them all in a room. And then, so instead of just doing one-on-one interviews, everyone just started congregating around them. And I didn't know what the hell to do. And everyone was getting mad at me. And I felt it was like playing craps. Like, I never know where to put my hands or, like, what's going on, really, and everyone's getting mad at me. It was the same thing. I was drunk. Like, it's the same thing. Like, just getting pushed around. But so I there is a decorum to that, isn't there, Danny?
Yes.
Yeah, and you got to, and it was first come, first serve?
That, but also you kind of, I put myself on the side, so I just need to get my mic close to the person. But my photographer can get a shot. Mark
Daniels, who covers the Patriots for Masslive.com, joining us on the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline. Is there a groan when Dan asks his questions? Mark?
I'll be honest. No, Dan actually asks pertinent, solid questions. And the big thing for me is he doesn't hit me in the head with his microphone, which happens. People ask bad questions, and then sometimes you get hit in the head with a camera or microphone. At that point, my eyes roll. But no, Dan, honestly, I'd give him an A for media room decorum or, actions.
Well, Reese is never going to hit you in the head because there's no way he could reach. So I would imagine that's more of an ass situation if he's behind you, that he is.
You try to avoid that as well.
Yes, he's very small. I mean, there's no doubt about it. He's very small. All right, Mark Daniels. I found this interesting. I was listening to Ben Mahler, who does national overnights here on the station, and he was talking about Jack Jones, and he was stating it as fact. He was like, when the coaching change was made in Vegas, the coach of the Vegas Raiders now,
Antonio Pierce,
was his I guess involved with coaching him in high school and college, and that he was stating his fact that Jack Jones deliberately tried to get kicked off the Patriots to go to Vegas, and he did get cut by the Patriots, and he has been claimed by Vegas. Is there any at all validity to that? Do you think that he just wanted off this team and did everything he could to get kicked off?
I don't think so. I think it's one of those situations where, like a zebra, it doesn't change his stripes. I mean, even when he followed Antonio Pierce to Arizona State, he still got suspended for a year. Like, he still got in trouble at Arizona State, even with Antonio Pierce there. I do know he's very close to Antonio Pierce. He's like best friends with his son. I believe his name was DeAndre Pierce, who played at Arizona State as well. So not a shock that he landed with the Raiders, but no, he didn't deliberately play bad, because the truth is, when he was out on the field, there's a lot on line for these guys. You're talking about jobs and money, but like Jack Jones, 1, troublemaker, 2, bad this season. I mean, last year in 12 games, I had him down for allowing 40% of his targets to be completed. This year, it's 72% in 4 games. I mean, this year, he's allowed 8 catches on 11 targets. Last year, he allowed 10 catches in 12 games. Like, he wasn't the same player. And on top of that, the way he was acting on the sideline, it clearly was not a good fit. But I think that's also sort of representative of where the Patriots are. Like, when things go bad, it's harder to mask that stuff. I think it's easier for a player to be unhappy on a bad team than be unhappy when you're losing all these games.
All right, so we played the audio of Mac Jones. Obviously, it is what it is with him. When you watch these games, do you think something's in his head that he's got like the yips, that he's almost like there's something that's happening that is not allowing him? It's mental with him at this point.
100%. I mean, he got sacked 5 times in the first half, and I think that's directly related to how he played in the second half. I mean, he was 15 of 20 in Germany, and out of those 5 incomplete passes, 3 were almost intercepted. So it was such a weird game for me, because he had a fine completion percentage, but all of a sudden at the end, he couldn't complete a pass. And for me, it goes back to the offensive line and the pass protection. It's like when he gets hit, he's not processing it right. Like, we've seen at times throughout his career, he's been able to hang in the pocket and make the right throw, and he gets hit, and you say, "Oh, good job by Mac." that isn't happening. He's been hit a lot over the last 2 seasons, and you're right. When I left the field that night, I immediately thought Mac Jones has the yips. Like he's lost his confidence. He's not doing what he's supposed to do. Even like that final interception, it's a horrible throw. Vidarian Lowe got beat within like 2 seconds. Vidarian Lowe got beat bad. The defender was in front of him, and instead of planting your feet, taking the hit or taking the sack, he throws off his back foot. Like the pass he threw was like how I throw to my 6-year-old son, right? Float it in the air, try to make it easy. Like it's you don't want to make excuses for him because you can't make throws like that. But like it comes down to me to the offensive line, and unfortunately, you don't have a quarterback who can play with a bad offensive line.
Yeah, I'm right with you, Mark. I think it's confidence. You can clearly see that, and he's kind of hit a bottom out. You wrote about what the scenarios could be with Mac Jones on your Masslive column. Where do you see this going? For me, I said to Fred and Rich earlier in the show that I just think that you sit him down for a little bit. So did I say that? Fred and John. Sorry.
I don't know why you would
Yeah.
say that.
I know.
It's almost like the show's different.
So I said
How
it to
long
Fred
have I known you?
and
Jesus
John.
Christ.
Oh, come on. Are you done?
I'm just ashamed of you. I really feel bad for
But
you.
People are going to make mistakes.
This
John.
isn't
you,
going to
Fred.
help your bid to
Thank
take
you,
over
Fred.
that chair. I'll tell you
So-
that right now.
Mark, I kind of look at it like sit and then either Zappy or Greer or whatever you want to do, and then maybe he gets another chance, and maybe he gets in an injury, and he just doesn't think and just starts throwing and can get back to being Mac. What do you see the scenarios are for Mac Jones in the future with the Patriots?
Yeah, I mean, short term, I feel like it would be hard to play a quarterback that you sat for a 2-minute drill when you're down by 4. I don't know how you explain that to your team. And I think long term, the best thing for Mac would be to get out of New England and just start anew. I mean, honestly, see if Kyle Shanahan wants him and he can go and compete with Brock Purdy over in San Francisco. That would be what was best for him. I think this situation has just reached sort of a boiling point for all sides where Mac isn't a great fit for Bill Belichick. And even if Bill is gone, I think it would be best for him to go and start somewhere else and be a long-term backup, and maybe like Geno Smith, he turns into a starter. Short-term guys, it's fascinating. I mean, we got I would say a 10-minute window of practice yesterday, and I would say this year they've sort of messed with us a little bit with where it's like, all right, you can just watch stretching and you can't see anything else. Yesterday, it was all right, you can watch stretching and stay for the entire first period. And I'm like, this is interesting. And Mac Jones was the first quarterback in every rep. First quarterback and little walkthrough they did. And I'm like, are they trying to show us that Mac is still the starter? Is Bill Belichick playing mind games? If it's the only practice of the week, if you're going to move on to Bailey Zappi, why not let him work with David Andrews? Because in the drills I saw, he wasn't. It was Mac Jones working with David
take
Andrews.
nothing from that.
Right?
Yep. Exactly. Nothing.
Right. It was fascinating to me. And then I'll be honest, I asked a player in the locker room later, I'm like, did they tell you guys who's the starting quarterback? And he was like, no. So I'm like, all right, I don't know if it's up in the air. They haven't made a decision, but at some point, if it's going to be Bailey Zappi, or I would argue for Will Greer, I mean, the guys need to be notified and you just need to sort of move on.
How bad is the locker room in there in regards to Mac? You saw the Andrew Callahan article where it's 80-20 against. You're in there along with Dan every day. What's your sense on this?
I think Mac started to lose the locker room during the Saints game. For me, I noticed the way players talked about him changed. It went from, we love Mac, we believe in Mac, he's QB number 1, to, well, we're behind whoever starts. Whether it's Mac or Zappi, we're behind whoever. And now players, it feels to me like they don't even want to say his name. Like, oh, it's not one person, it's all of us. All of us have to be better. So the way people have spoken about him has changed. But I'll tell you, in Frankfurt, it was awkward. It's like if someone really messes up bad at work and no one wants to look at him. Like guys were walking by Mac, no one would look at him. They were looking at the floor. Someone would like give him an awkward glance and immediately look to his feet. And I'm like, this is bad. I'm sitting there just staring at him like a stalker. He's putting on his shoes and no one's speaking to him. I'm like, man, this has gotten bad, and it was very clear that it's gotten bad.
You can't start him again. If I'm not doubting your
That's
opinion,
awesome.
but let's say you're spot on. You can't start him again. Correct?
Right, and think about what's on the line for all these upcoming free agents. I mean, for Bill O'Brien, guys in the front office, you have a horrible team and a bad record. It could affect people's livelihoods and their jobs. So, like, for Mac, if it's in his head, he has the yips, he doesn't have confidence. At the very least, get someone out there who doesn't have the yips, who has confidence. I mean, like, I don't think Bailey Zappi is close to what Mac Jones is as a quarterback, which is a problem. But Bailey Zappi, at the very least, has confidence. I mean, I don't think Will Greer has the yips. So, like, if they give you a better chance to put out a better product, it's probably where you need to lean.
Is there just this is out of selfish interest of just having to watch the games at this point? But is there any way that you think Malik Cunningham could get a chance? Just to,
Oh man,
to
I hope
spot.
so.
I do too. That's the thing, man.
Right.
You got 2 wins. You're boring as hell. Could you at least just get Malik Cunningham in there? Is there
Think
any
about poor
possible?
Marco has to write about the same crap every day. This would be a whole new thing he could
I know.
write about.
He's got to go.
It would be amazing. It would honestly be amazing if they just signed Malik Cunningham to the 53 and sort of split reps with him and Zappy or him and Greer, right? All right, mix it up. I mean, hell, go to the option. I mean, the offense. The only thing the offense does well is run the ball.
Mhm.
Get Malik Cunningham out there, run the ball 20 times with Steven Ramondre, 20 times with Zeke, and then let Malik run it another 10. I mean, honestly, I think you'd be better at that. And hell, if they did that in Germany, like got Malik out there for those red zone plays and just ran the ball, you'd probably win the game.
All right, Mark Daniels, I love it. Excellent stuff about Mac Jones. I like the locker room. I like that you were in Germany. He covers the Patriots for Masslive.com. Mark Daniels, it's a pleasure, sir. Thank you so much for coming on.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.